Christopher de Santiago with MMA Island. Today I'm talking to one of the most exciting fighters in PFL history, the number one pick on season 27 of The Ultimate Fighter. Retiring with a record of 14-4, we're talking to Tyler Diamond. Tyler, how's it going today?
My brother, I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. You know, first of all, I just wanted to congratulate you on an amazing career. It was really cool to see you kind of get the love from the fans. I know that you're kind of like at the peak of your career right now, so I guess why did you decide that the time was now to retire?
Dude, honestly, I just don't really have the opportunities. Like, I could probably hit up PFL and get an undercard fight for them, which be amazing, but it just stinks. Like, you only get half your money when you lose. And for me, I have to dedicate so much more than even the average person now. I mean, I situated my family in Paradise, California, which is an hour and a half north of Sacramento so for me, being in fight camp, it's traveling an hour and a half to Sacramento in the morning, staying there all day, training twice, and then going home and doing that 5 days a week. And it's freaking rough for how much money I'm making, like I really have to win my fights to make it even kind of worthwhile. And when you lose, it just totally isn't worth it at all. So it just stinks, man. And I don't have it's not nothing solid. Like I can't just do one fight for 21 to show, 21 to win sort of thing. Like it's just really tough. So it's just for me, like my whole life is revolved around training and getting ready for fights, preparing, and I've missed out on a lot of opportunities. And it's just kind of time where I kind of want some more certainty in my life. And I just kind of want to be able to move on to other things without fighting hindering me, I would say.
How long have you been contemplating this decision? And after your last fight, did you kind of were you kind of in this mindset where it's like, okay, maybe I want to try other things in life?
Well, hey, I had a really good year last year fighting. I had three fights and I won two of them. Should have won the last one, but I ended up coming up short. But after that last fight, it was like, dang, dude, I just made way less money in this third fight than I did my first two because I lost. And so I was gearing up for the season again for PFL, but there was no guarantee they were going to take me again. And then the GFL, the scammers came through and was like, hey, we'll give you this much money and we'll guarantee you this many fights. And I got proven that they had the money basically, like, because that was my first question was like, hey, how can you guarantee all this stuff? And they're like, here's all the documentation, here's the proof of it. And I was like, hey, if you can prove it, then cool, let's do it. I'm in this sport to make money. But then obviously that fell through. And just like, my career's been so uncertain since COVID. I mean, I was signed with PFL, they took the whole year off of fighting, and then I fought in 21, and then they didn't bring me back in 22. So you got to think it's just like they just use you when they want you sort of thing. And um, it's freaking tough to live life when it's like, oh, I might be fighting, or it's just for me, it's never been super certain, so it's just really tough.
Hmm. At 34, like let's say, I mean, the MMA landscape's kind of weird right now because I mean, Bellator's no more, GFL was a fluke, PFL, obviously you've been with them. Um, do you feel like if there was an offer, like if there was to be like a crazy offer for you to fight again, you would? Do you think?
Yeah, if PFL came through and said, hey, we'll guarantee you three fights in a year, then I would for sure entertain it. But that's not where I'm at. That nothing's guaranteed. It'd be more of like a, hey, we have one fight offer for you, and I'm just not really interested in that at this point in time. I'd like to move on and be able to do other things. So that's just ultimately where I'm at with the decision. And the reason why I even posted anything, because I never planned on doing it, but I run into so many people, and the number one question is like, hey, when you fight again? Hey, what's your plan? And social media is a great platform, just kind of let every single person know the same thing, and word gets around fast. So I just wanted to let people know, like, hey, I didn't want to do like some weird sappy, like, oh, I'm done fighting, retirement thing, but I just wanted to let people know, like, hey, more than likely you've seen me fight for the last time, like that, and that's just where I'm at.
Hmm. And you have more than 20 fights at this point. You were in a lot of wars, man, a lot of great highlights. I guess what was the happiest moment of your career, or was there like a happiest fight or funnest fight you were a part of?
It's hard to put like any one fight on it. I mean, I guess if I had to put any, it would be actually my first fight with PFL was with Sung Bin Jo because when I finally signed with PFL, it was like, hey, I made my breakthrough. The UFC didn't work out, so this is great. Now I was all in on PFL. I'm still a big fan of PFL. I know that a lot of people are leaving the organization right now, but they treated me insanely well. I had no complaints. Um, so that fight against Sung Bin Jo was great because it was like, oh, hey, this is my breakthrough moment, and that was my first time in my career where I made a lot of money. And it was just a fun fight overall. I mean, I shouldn't have made it as hard as it was, but that was just a fun fight, like um I guess if I had to pick any, it would be that one.
I was looking at your last 10 opponents' records. The combined record is 139 to 22 losses. I mean, that's a pretty crazy record. You fought the best of the best. What can you say about the competition that you fought, the strength of competition you fought, and I guess kind of the legacy that you're leaving behind?
Hey man, that's impressive that you notice that because real ones like look at things like that, and then other people go, "Oh, this guy's undefeated," and then you look at his undefeated record, and he fought like one guy that's got to win, right? I mean, yeah, dude. For me, like, I've never been in a position to turn fights away, or I've never been in a position to be able to dictate that. So for me, it's kind of like, dude, I'll fight whoever, whenever, and I'm happy with what I can get. And it just so happens that every single person I fought, especially those last 10 guys, have been tougher than hell. But I take a lot of pride in that. Like it just goes to show, like I didn't want to take the easy route. Um, I wanted to fight tough people. I wanted to show that I was one of the best in the world. And whether people think that or not, it's up to them. It doesn't matter to me. I can sleep at night knowing how much effort I put in and what I did in the sport. And I certainly wish I could have did more. And but at the end of the day, I can't control everything, and it just is what it is. I had a good run.
You fought two world champions back to back with Brendan Loughnane and then Movlid, can't I can't always pronounce his last name.
It's hard. Kovalaev.
Yeah, Khaybulaev. You fought them back to back. I guess who would you say gave you the tougher fight? Who was the better opponent?
Man, that's a tough one, dude. I mean, Movlid beat Brendan. I mean, I would say that Movlid is better overall. I mean, he's undefeated, right? He's stacked up really well against the competition, and Brendan has too. Brendan's a tough matchup for anybody. His striking is so good, and his distance management is super well. Uh, but Yeah, both those fights were tough, man, because I went into the fight with Brendan having surgery on a broken zygomatic arch 5 weeks before against Sung Bin Jo. So I went into that fight with a very short fight camp where I only did striking. And when I went to fight with him, I was like questionable. Like, I don't know why, but at the time I was like, I don't know if I can wrestle. I might get tired. And that was the stupidest thing ever. I never get tired. And then against Movlid, I separated my shoulder super bad 6 days before the fight, which is crazy. So I went in like very injured against both those guys. Against Brendan, I had a war. Against Movlid, I should have did really well, but I basically didn't have a left arm. So it's really hard to judge. But I'll tell you what, I wish I could fight both of them again healthy, because that would be a very entertaining fight for the fans, and I know I would do better, But yeah, those were fun ones.
Hmm. I was looking at I was watching the Ultimate Fighter, the last episode of you and Jay, and Stipe Miocic said that that was the best fight he's ever seen, and honestly, that's one of the better fights in the Ultimate Fighter history. I guess
Yeah.
what was it like sharing the octagon of Jay and to have one of the best fights in on the show's history?
So it's funny. I literally just said I don't get tired, which is true, but I did get tired in that fight. But it's because so that I learned a lot in that fight. I think I was only 24,
I
Maybe
think
I was like
20, 25 or
26.
26, I think.
Yeah. I was very young. I was very young in the sport, and my fight IQ wasn't where it should have been. So I got tired not because I didn't have a good gas tank, but I got tired because I literally just tried emptying every ounce of my soul into the fight. And he did a super good job working my body. So I learned so much from that fight. I learned not to headhunt people. I learned to be more efficient with my energy system. I learned that I should actually probably attack people's body. And yeah, it was great. I mean, I wish that I would have been on the other end of that fight. Um, Jay, super awesome human being, really good fighter, but he was never able to put it together like that, like he did against me. I think it was written in the stars that he was supposed to win for whatever reason. I mean, because he just had the performance of a lifetime. I mean, you look at that performance he had against me compared to any of his fights, and it's night and day, honestly. And yeah, I hope for the best for that guy. I don't really communicate with him anymore, but it was a great fight. It'll definitely go down in history as one of the best fights in tough history, no matter how many seasons they have. And yeah, it's definitely cool to be a part of that.
Mm. I'm going to read you a quote from Daniel Cormier. He said about you, if I had him on my team, I would always pick him first. And obviously he did. I guess how cool was it in that moment to really get that shine on that show and to be the number one pick on Team Cormier?
Dude, that was awesome. I felt so honored because I didn't expect that. I mean, there were so many good fighters on that season, but me and DC clicked right away. Me being a Division 1 wrestler and uh, just being a wrestler overall, like that clicked with him. And him and I had a lot of really, really good conversations, a lot of really intimate moments together. I coincidentally before that show, I had never rooted against DC. Like I've always a big fan. I just loved the way he carried himself. So that was just written in the stars too. How I end up being on his team. And yeah, man, I worked really freaking hard, and that's something he admired and he respected. And we just developed a really good relationship on the show. I mean, he's got my phone number, I got his. I could probably hit him up any time. I don't overuse my welcome, I would say. But at any time, I could hit up DC if I needed something. I know he'd be there.
As you enter this next chapter of your life, I guess, do you have any regrets of your fighting career?
The only regrets I have are the things I couldn't control, which is, I wish I had more guarantees. Like I wish, like even with PFL, when I fought 3 times last year, those weren't guaranteed fights. I took a one-off fight and I won, and then I got pulled into the season and I won, which became, so that was just by chance. It wasn't a guaranteed thing. And, I'm just at the point in my life now where it's like I would really love some reassurance, like, hey, you're guaranteed 3 fights, you're guaranteed 2 fights, whatever. And, not having that is essentially the catalyst that led to my decision to like, hey, why don't I just not put my eggs in that basket anymore and go focus on other things? Because I am interested in a lot of other things. And I mean, I own my meal prep company that does very well, and I put a lot into it. But it's really hard to fully focus on your business when you're having to train 4 hours a day. And you know, now I'll be able to train for leisure, not because it was starting to get to feel like a job too. And it's really hard to do something that feels like a job also when there's no return in sight. For me, it was like, oh, I might be fighting, might not. So that was really hard.
How did your family kind of take the news that, you were going to be taking off the gloves?
My wife is happy. It's like really stressful for her, because like you said, I have been in some wars. I've been in some tough fights, and she's always been the one there to witness that, and see me not be able to walk the next day and stuff like that. And then I have other family members that they think it's a shame, as do I think it's a shame. I'm the best I've ever been right now, and I know I can compete with anyone in the world. But the landscape of MMA right now is just really tough. It's there's really not a home for me out there. I mean, like I said, I know PFL could pick me up and probably put me on an undercard. And I'd be super appreciative of that, but I need more than that, man. I need a guarantee of, a couple fights, and it's just hard. I mean, I'm 34 years old, and I feel like MMA held me back in my life from a lot of really good financial opportunities and careers. And I'm just ready to move on and start making real money. And I make great money outside of fighting. So that's what also makes it hard. It's like when I am training full time, I'm essentially losing out on hundreds of dollars a week. And I just can't do that for a non-guarantee, you know?
And stepping outside of the cage, I guess, what do you want to chase outside? What are some of your post-fight, I guess, dreams or aspirations
Yeah.
that you'd like to have?
Dude, I'm kind of trying to figure that out right now. I mean, so my wife and I built our house in Paradise, and my dad was a contractor, so I know a fair amount about that, and I definitely that's definitely something I'm interested in is potentially going to get my contractor's license and building some houses here in Paradise where the town burnt down in 2018, so there's still a lot of room for that here. But I also love landscaping, and I've been doing a fair bit of that. Um, I love working with my hands, getting my hands dirty, but I also love the idea of going and becoming a police officer, something that I kind of aspired to do since I was a little kid. And there's nothing like having that employer match you for your retirement, right? So really the possibilities, Chris, are endless. I could go a number of different directions. I know that whatever direction I ultimately choose to go, I'll be successful in. Um, but yeah, I'd say I'm currently trying to figure it out.
Before fighting, did you want to become a police officer? Like, was that kind of a career path that you were kind of eyeing before you got into the fight game?
Yeah, it was like ever since I was a little kid, for whatever reason, I was just drawn to becoming a police officer. And I think it's because I'm like a perfectionist. I like things to be the right way. And being a police officer, law and order. And I was always kind of drawn to that as a little kid. So um I definitely would love to go that route, but I may not too, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, it's not the best paying job. Great benefits, but there's a lot of things self-employment wise I could do and make a lot more money. So I may try those routes first. And if things aren't going as smooth or as good as I thought they would or I'd like, any department would probably love to have me. I mean, I have a clean record. I haven't even smoked weed in my life, so um, I don't even have any traffic infractions. I mean, I'm really the ideal candidate for any jurisdiction. So we'll see, man. I can't say with certainty of anything right now, but those are some things that definitely interest me.
That's awesome, man. I think that's all the questions I had. Is there anything that I might have missed that you want to touch up on before we get out here?
No, I was impressed with you knowing my opponent's record and kind of bringing up that quote from DC, which is awesome. But no, man, I mean, at the end of the day, like my wrestling career, I wasn't satisfied with it. And I was like, oh, but my fighting career, that's where I'll get that satisfaction. And, I can't say I'm satisfied with that either. And the truth is that 99% of athletes are never fully get their satisfied goal, at the end, but you got to be able to live with yourself. I'm much more than a fighter, and people got to realize like I'm much more than the athlete or the sport that I do. And there's so much more to life. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, as long as you did everything in your power to be the best that you could be, or everything you could be to everything you could do to win that fight, then there's nothing more you could have done. So for that reason, I can walk away and be somewhat satisfied in knowing just there's nothing else I could have done. I couldn't have worked any harder than I did. So
Awesome, man. And I know you're not satisfied with your career, but it was a stellar one. I mean, you fought the best guys consistently: Bryce Mitchell, Brett Johns. You beat him, Brendan Loughnane, Movlid, world champions, Enrique Barzola. I mean, the list goes on. So I just want to
mm,
congratulate you on an amazing career, man, and I hope you hang your head high on it.
thank you, brother. I really appreciate that.